You were taught to worship beauty, to bow to it, to believe it is power. But today, I'll teach you to look beneath the veil, to see the fragility behind the perfectly curated mask of an attractive woman. I won't teach you to hate her, nor to idolize her, but to understand her, and in that understanding, gain control. Not to dominate, but to never again be dominated. Beneath every carefully painted face is a mind wired for approval, a heart addicted to reflection, and a soul terrified of fading into silence. Validation is her oxygen. It's not luxury, it's survival. The woman whose beauty once bent rooms and awakened desire now lives in quiet fear of the moment no one looks. That fear is hidden behind smiles, filters, and praise, but it governs every decision she makes. You'll recognize it in her endless need to be affirmed, to be told she is still the center. The mirror never speaks loud enough. No amount of hearts or compliments fills the void. The trick is simple. You don't give what others throw at her without thought. You ration it. A calculated compliment here, a sudden withdrawal there. It's not about drowning her in admiration. It's about letting silence hang heavy. In that void, the addiction is born, and from addiction, you build leverage. Because when a man resists her charm, when he doesn't react like the crowd, her reality fractures. She isn't used to that. She doesn't know how to ignore it. She becomes the one seeking, chasing, craving. Her need to be desired becomes her trap. Beauty opens doors, yes, but it also binds her to the reactions of others. Her power doesn't come from within, it's reflected back. Whoever holds the mirror holds her. And that mirror? You can turn it to glass or smoke. You control the rhythm. Approval like a drug, withdrawal like a punishment. No tantrum required, no arguments, just calculated attention, served and withheld. She will rationalize it, pretend it doesn't affect her. But her whole emotional ecosystem realigns itself to regain that small spark you once gave and then took away. This is the essence of dark psychology. Not destruction, but redirection. She thinks she owns her power. In truth, she's addicted to the perception of it. The moment you interrupt that perception, you own the flow of her emotional current. That is the real stage of control. You don't shout, you don't chase, you observe and adjust. She who commands attention now needs yours more than breath. And time is her second master. Youth is currency, and hers is expiring by the second. Behind every flawless photo is a woman trying to pause the clock, but no filter stops the truth. She knows her beauty fades. She knows men turn their heads toward youth, and so she builds rituals, illusions, surgeries, and styles. But underneath it all lies a quiet dread. A dread that one day she'll walk into a room and no one will notice. You don't need to attack this fear. That awakens defense. Instead, you exploit it gently. A glance held too long at another. A comment whispered, not cruel, just true enough to sting. Beauty doesn't last forever. She laughs, but inside it breaks her. Because she knows. And now she knows you know. That crack grows with every reminder that she is not eternal. Understand, she is not afraid of wrinkles. She's afraid of irrelevance, that her ability to command will wither with her reflection. And in that space of insecurity, you become her only escape. Make her believe only with you she can defy the natural order, but never give her that security fully. She must always doubt it, always fear losing it. That fear becomes your leash. The younger woman who enters the room? She's not a threat because she is better, but because she is newer. The rival triggers something primal: jealousy, comparison, the terror of being replaced. The attractive woman lives by contrast. She measures herself through others. Make that contrast apparent, and she spirals. Subtly praise another. Let your gaze drift. It's not betrayal. It's a tool. Her mind will wage war against shadows, just to restore her position in your eyes. She competes not because she wants to, but because she has to. Her status is not stable. It's conditional. It's threatened. And you, if you position yourself properly, are the one she must convince. Not because you asked her to, but because your silence created the space where her anxiety bloomed. In every environment, she watches, compares, and tries to eliminate her rivals without showing her panic. And yet, it always shows. That's your advantage. She cannot rest. Her status is only as strong as the last look she received. You don't need to insult her. You just plant a name, a compliment meant for another, a silence where she expected validation. She will overthink, overanalyze, overperform. She will try to win back what she imagines she lost, even if it was never promised. Her perfection is a fragile illusion. It exhausts her. She doesn't dress for herself. She doesn't post for joy. Every photo is a battle. Every outfit a defense. Every angle a weapon against time, against rivals, against doubt. If you point out even a slight imperfection, even with silence, the house of mirrors shakes. That power she guards so tightly is not confidence. It's fear wearing makeup. And the one who refuses to validate her illusion becomes the architect of her reality. The man who doesn't melt under her image becomes the one she cannot ignore. And in her pursuit to fix the reflection you interrupted, she becomes predictable, vulnerable, desperate to regain control, not over you, but over the identity she thought was unquestionable. You see, she built her worth on appearances, but what she shows is never who she is. The mirror doesn't just reflect, it judges. And you, if you control the angle, control the verdict. That is why you must never react like the rest. The common man bows. The strategist watches, cold, silent, surgical. And that silence becomes the loudest voice in her world. She lives by attention, but she dies by silence. The room, the feed, the hallway. Every place becomes a stage. Her body, her voice, her eyes. They are weapons honed not for survival, but domination. Yet the irony is unbearable. What grants her power also enslaves her. She does not feed on love. She feeds on gaze. And gaze, unlike love, is fleeting, unstable, and hungry for novelty. No matter how much she pretends otherwise, she breathes male desire. Every glance is a fix. Every smirk is a hit of dopamine. You think she's empowered, but she's addicted. And like any addict, she becomes desperate when the supply weakens. When a man, just one man, refuses to give her what she expects without effort, her system short-circuits. She becomes anxious, provocative, reactive. The queen becomes the performer. This is the paradox. While most men crumble at the feet of her allure, the one who does not, the one who observes without trembling, becomes the one she cannot forget. His indifference isn't rejection, it's authority. And that authority, when wielded with control, turns beauty itself into a cage. She cannot walk away from the man who holds back what others hand over freely. You are not here to beg for her body. You are here to possess her mind. And to do that, you must control the flow of attention like a surgeon controls a scalpel. Give, withdraw, reward, delay. Every look becomes currency. Every compliment, if rare enough, becomes gold. She will learn that your gaze is not guaranteed, that your validation is earned, not owed, and in that scarcity, she will bend. But it goes deeper. Her beauty, her seduction, her perfect body. They are not just tools of power, they are mirrors of insecurity. She seduces not only to win, but to reassure herself that she can. Her pleasure is her proof. If she can still make you want her, then she is still alive. But if you resist, if you withhold, not cruelly but calmly, you unravel her self-worth. She begins to question not just her desirability, but her identity. Every act of intimacy becomes a test. Did I satisfy? Did he crave? Did I conquer? And when the answer is silence, her confidence turns to compulsion. She tries again, pushes harder, offers more, until what once was control is now surrender. Because sex to her is not pleasure, it's validation, and the one who withholds it becomes the master of her pride. This is not about brutality, it's about timing. A man who can treat sex as a privilege, not a given, rewires the power structure entirely. She is no longer the gatekeeper. You are. She does not choose. She waits. And when a woman waits, her mind becomes your field. Her doubts become your leverage. Her effort to please becomes her own punishment. But this collapse is quiet. It doesn't scream. It whispers. She still smiles, still walks with grace. But inside, a storm brews, because now, the one thing she believed she controlled, desire, is in your hands. And when her efforts fail to seduce, she doesn't feel rejected. She feels irrelevant. And relevance, for the attractive woman, is everything. The most tragic truth is this. She believes her body is her empire, but it's actually her leash. Because the man who does not kneel becomes the god she cannot conquer. You must never give her full certainty. Only shadows of approval, moments of softness wrapped in long silences. That contrast will devour her, because she has never had to work for what you deny her. She is used to admiration. You must offer respect, but condition it on behavior, not on looks. You must be the first to see her not as a goddess, but as a system of impulses, predictable, calculable, vulnerable. Her ego? It's not confidence, it's armor. And that armor is heavy. It's built on daily maintenance, of image, of perception, of illusion. But inside, it cracks with every suggestion that she is not enough. You don't need to insult her. You only need to look at her and blink slower, speak less, smile at the wrong time, delay a reply. Her mind will do the rest. She'll crumble without knowing why. And you, if you remain calm, will see her arrogance bleed into need. That is your opening, not through battle, through silence. The truly attractive woman is never as confident as she appears. Her pride is her script. Her dominance is her mask. Beneath it, a child starved of approval dances for your gaze. You must let her dance. Watch without flinching. And when she realizes you're not clapping like the rest, she'll twist herself into the very puppet you came to control. There's more, the deeper need, the one she buries under all her pride, the need for direction, control, leadership. She wants to feel strong, but craves to be overpowered. She screams independence, but aches for a man who never asks, only leads. This is not about chains or commands. It is about presence. Calm, steady, unwavering presence. The woman who has been bowed to her entire life eventually grows tired of power. Power, when unchallenged, becomes weight. The strategist does not declare himself master. He simply acts as one. He does not compete. He decides. And in that simplicity, she finds what no admirer ever gave her: safety. Not safety from danger, safety from herself, from the noise in her mind, from the decisions she pretends to love making, from the freedom that feels like loneliness. You do not steal her control. You make her offer it, quietly, gladly. That is the core of the hidden dependency. The strongest women often fall hardest for the man who remains unmoved, because he becomes her only stable point in a world where everything else depends on her performance. Do not lecture her. Do not threaten. Do not over-explain. Simply move through the world without her approval. And in doing so, you will force her to orbit yours. That is not manipulation. It is gravity. And her soul longs to fall. The more she fights, the more she wants to be caught. Not with violence, but with coldness, composure. A man who needs nothing from her becomes the only man she desires everything from. And then, the true fracture, abandonment. The threat of walking away. Not loudly, not angrily, just the subtle disappearance. A pause, a silence, a delay. She can withstand insult. She can survive humiliation. But silence? That's the one pain she cannot absorb. Because silence isn't rejection, it's deletion, and she needs to be seen. Make her question your presence, and she will do anything to make it stay. Not because she loves you, but because without you, the spotlight dims, and she cannot bear to return to darkness. She is not afraid of losing you. She is afraid of not being chosen again, of being forgotten, of being replaceable. This is the death she fears most, the one that doesn't kill the body, but erases the ego. So be the man who could leave at any moment, not to punish, to prove that you are not tied to her shine, that her glow does not blind you, that you walk by your own light. That is when she bends. Not because you forced her, but because she's never met someone who didn't try to possess her, someone who didn't beg, someone who could look into her storm and say, "You do not control me." And in that moment, her fire becomes a flame begging not to go out. She is her most powerful in bed, or so she believes. The curves, the moans, the choreography of pleasure, all honed like a weapon, a ritual of conquest. But that performance, too, hides a truth she dare not admit. Sex is not her domain of power. It is the final mask she wears to keep control. And when you refuse to be conquered by it, the illusion fractures. Because the pleasure she offers is not just about seduction. It is about affirmation. It is a stage where she proves, once again, that she is enough, that her power still works. But when you do not flinch, do not ache, do not melt, when you pull away instead of falling in, something in her shatters. Her strongest weapon becomes a dull blade. You don't need to humiliate her. You only need to act unimpressed. Let her offer what usually buys her worship, and respond with stillness. A pause, a delay, a gaze that studies, not surrenders. She will read rejection where there is only detachment, and she will spiral. She who once felt in control will begin to overcompensate, giving more, trying harder, revealing what she never wanted to reveal. The fear that it's no longer enough. That is where her strength becomes her prison, because she cannot separate her worth from the desire she provokes. When that desire fades, or worse, refuses to ignite, she collapses. Not loudly, not visibly, but internally she falls apart. She questions her appeal, her identity, her value. You have not broken her body. You have challenged her mind. And when her beauty no longer secures your gaze, she will fight for it. That fight isn't sensual, it's desperate. And in that desperation, her pride melts. She will chase, seduce, obsess. Not for love, but for proof. Because to her, pleasure is proof, and the absence of it is annihilation. That's when the fantasy emerges, the one she never admits aloud. The fantasy not of domination, but of surrender. Not to any man, but to the one who cannot be shaken. The one whose silence says, "I am more powerful than your beauty." The one who stands calm while others kneel. This is the fantasy she hides under sarcasm and independence. The one she calls outdated, but dreams of in silence. To be overpowered not physically, but spiritually. To be contained. To finally stop performing. To finally trust someone else to lead. And the man who embodies that certainty becomes more than a partner. He becomes gravity. Not because he barks commands or plays the tyrant, but because his world does not orbit hers, because he holds the frame. She watches the world bend for her, but him? He does not move. And that stillness, that control, that internal empire, makes her want to give herself away. Not for pleasure, for peace. That's the paradox of power. She craves resistance more than she craves praise. She wants to feel small, not to be humiliated, but to be held. To rest inside the will of someone who doesn't collapse at her feet. And if you are that man, if your strength comes from presence, not performance, you will not need to take control. She will give it, but give her what she desires too easily and she will destroy it. She will test, she will provoke, she will push just to see if you bend. That's why your power must remain constant, untouched, cold when needed, silent when necessary. You are not her servant, you are her storm. And in that storm, the fantasy of submission becomes her chosen escape. Because to feel governed by a greater force is, for her, the only way to stop fighting herself. But even this isn't the deepest wound. There is one more. The illusion of being irreplaceable. You see, she may be admired by many, desired by all. But what she craves most is not attention. It's singularity. She doesn't just want to be wanted. She wants to be the only one, the one you never forget, the one no one could match. That's why doubt is your most lethal weapon. Not insult, not comparison, just suggestion. The lightest pause before a compliment, the faintest trace of uncertainty when she demands clarity, a glance elsewhere, a name dropped casually. These things pierce deeper than 1,000 words. She will never admit it, but inside she is screaming, "Tell me I'm the only one!" And the more you resist, the more frantic she becomes. Because her confidence is not built on abundance. It's built on exclusivity. The woman who lives in the spotlight fears only one thing, to be seen as common. So don't take that from her directly. Let her offer her uniqueness and remain unmoved. Let her throw flames and respond with stillness. That contrast alone will turn her power into desperation. She will try harder, reveal more, until she is no longer performing for the crowd, but begging for your gaze. And once that happens, you no longer chase. She does. She rewrites her words, redoes her appearance, rebuilds her image, all in your name. Because your silence, your restraint, your refusal to grant what others give her mindlessly now carries more weight than all the praise she's ever known. And that is the final chain. The fantasy of being unique becomes the nightmare of not being. You are not here to crush her. You are here to let her crumble alone. Let her fight the image she projected. Let her dig for the validation you ever promised. Let her unravel, because her final illusion, the illusion of power, is the easiest to break. She never had it. Not really. What looked like control was just dependency, propped up by a world too eager to please her. But when that world pauses, when one man stops clapping, she falls. And you, strategist, You do not need to speak. You only need to watch. The attractive woman was never your enemy. She was your map. Every curve a defense, every word a test, every gaze a request. Please, see me differently. And you did. You saw the cracks behind the crown, the fear behind the filter, the tremble beneath the pride. You saw the child behind the queen, and you never looked away. That is what broke her. Not violence, not dominance, understanding. And now that you understand, you no longer need her to bend. She will kneel on her own, because you, who refused to need her, became the only one she needs. And in that silence, your reign begins.